Happy Wednesday. And yeah, it's a beautiful morning to be alive. It's just like 4 o'clock in the morning now. I've been up since about, I don't know, a little after midnight. And just doing all my thing. Took a shower this morning and did my enemas. And yeah, I feel real good. And yeah, I've been rereading a book. Now, this is only the second time I've gone after this book because the first time it was so far over my head. I was just like, wow, I didn't know what to do with it. So I put it down for quite a few months and have started rereading it a few nights ago. And I'm actually grasping it a little bit more. Yeah, and it may take a lifetime to grasp the content of this book, but this is the book. Let's see if we can get it right. Man the Unknown by Alexis Carrel, Dr. Carrel. And, he covers so many things, but an area I want to talk about today is about the mind. And he makes a couple of interesting notations, and I'm just going to read a couple real quick because it's way intense. It goes deep, but it says that man is powerless against psychological attacks. He necessarily yields to the influence of his group. And if one lives in the company of criminals or fools, one becomes a criminal or a fool. And he goes on to say the mind is not as robust as the body. It is remarkable that mental diseases by themselves are more numerous than all the other diseases put together. So that's quite a bit to put in, and this is the thing, is that the mind is the most damaging instrument or the most beneficial instrument that you can have. And it really depends on what you think about. So if you have a fear-based consciousness, and everything is derived from that mindset, life's going to be pretty tough. It's going to be real difficult no matter what. And not only will your mind be diseased, your body will follow suit. And that's exactly how it works. The body is just a reflection of what the mind does. So if we really want to get control of our body, we got to get control of our mind first. Now, yesterday on my bus ride, I was talking with this woman. Her husband had fallen asleep, and so anyway, conversation's going pretty good and whatnot. And then when I brought up urine therapy, immediately her mind like snapped shut. And she goes, "Oh, it's like that's too much information. I don't want to hear about that. Da 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 da." I said, "Well, hey, I'm just telling you, it totally healed my body. It did, and that's all." I said, the only point, if I was going to make any, is that your interpretation of it is that it's a disgusting waste. And all you have to do is understand that it's not a disgusting waste. It's something completely different than what we've been taught. And I left it at that because people are really stuck in a big way because of their conditioned beliefs. People will steadfastly hang on to their beliefs because, well, they don't want to be wrong. The risk of being incorrect, especially when you got all of that peer pressure and groupthink that supports whatever indoctrination that you've been put through. And anybody who's been through the education system, especially all the way up into higher academia, has been put through a indoctrination. It's conditioned, and it is set on purpose to guide and direct the way that we think. If we were actually taught critical thinking and how to open our minds to the possibility of the unknown and figure things out in a completely different calculation and mindset than what we've been conditioned to believe. I mean, most of our education is just based on memory. You're given a whole bunch of facts and figures by whatever is deemed a fact. History can vary a lot that way. And you memorize it. And if you're a good little student, you memorize it. You get A's on your tests, and you get a 4-point grade average, and you go on to academia, and you get to wear all your dog and pony colors, and parade around in a pomp and circumstance, and pretend that you know everything, that you got it all figured out, because your indoctrination says so. Your plaque on the wall suggests that. That your intelligence is far superior because you've made it through the indoctrination. Well, I don't buy it, and I debunk that. Now, I have nothing against people learning things, absolutely not. But if it's all set up in a closed system with a closed mind, and it doesn't open up the possibility of other ideas and other influence that can shape a completely different reflection of what you might imagine, then I don't buy it, because it has too many limits. It limits the potential, and it limits the possibilities of people to get beyond their doubts and their fears. Now, we have been indoctrinated into this belief that urine is waste, that it's like poison, like it's disgusting and foul, and you better, scrub your hands and wash them 3 times. When the fact is, if you pissed on your hands would be cleaner than if you used all that soap and the chemicals that they leave at the sink side. That's just the facts. Urine's the most sterile liquid there is, proven physiologically by science, the most sterile liquid there is. Even in the event that you have disease in your body, your urine's still sterile. And it is a natural remedy and a natural barometer. You can put it back in your body, and your body reads it to understand what it needs in order to self-repair. Now, when you have a closed mind, and you've been conditioned to believe something else, it's going to be pretty damn hard for you to understand what I just said. But I have no fear, so I don't operate that way. And, I don't push myself over the limit. I mean, I listen to people, but I do, I have things to say, and I kind of, I'm willing to push the envelope a bit, just to see if I can bring some light to a situation, and see if people might shift their thinking a little bit. And I've seen the shift in a lot of people who, at the beginning of our conversations, thought it was all disgusting, but by the end of the conversations, they're open-minded and willing to do a little more research, or at least have a deeper understanding or a better understanding. So, yeah, it's kind of like that. Now, I wanted to show you another one of my shirts. I put on a different one today. Let me see if I can get it in view here. There it is. It's my P is T. And sorry, my computer's making me do something that I had to look away. Anyway, my P is T. So, yeah, that's another one of my designs. So, I wear these things, and, hopefully people look at them and go, "My pissed, what does that mean?" And then I'll explain. It's just half the fun of it. So, yeah, anyway, if you ever want to read something deeper than, and then I can even begin to explain, try to take on man the unknown, because even the brilliant doctor, and that's why I called it man the unknown, because we're so complex, especially on a physiological level, that most people can't even comprehend what happens to our bodies at all. But again, nothing changes in our body until we change our minds. So I'm going to wrap it up with a poem I wrote this morning. It's called conditional denial. And it goes like this. Fear is the basis for limited thought, controlling our senses. They're tied up in knots. Mental dis-ease is a powerful force, a self-sabotage with an inner discourse. It prevents us from seeing with open minds ways to heal by natural design. Conditioned denial and a lack of trust turn natural healing into disgust. I don't want to hear about drinking your pee, closing the mind with no way of seeing. When fear controls thinking, I observe and I sigh, because closed minds aren't dangerous when we question why. Something like that. So, anyway, I hope your day is a beautiful, wonderful, and lovely, mysterious, magical wonderment. I hope you engage in childlike enthusiasm and just embrace it all. You know, love life, love your life, and you'll feel the difference when you do. You know, get out of fear and get with love. Love is where it's at, totally. So, with all that said, I just want to say, boom, ha ha, you just been loved.